And I'm going to share my screen with you all. Let me find the right slide. And that's what we're going to talk about this evening. 4-4-4-1 hands. And I've covered this topic before, but I've had a few additional thoughts about it. So let's go through this. And these are hands where you've got a singleton and 3-4 card suits. And they're slightly awkward hands to bid because you typically end up bidding 2 suits. And it's normally the only time you bid 2 suits when you don't have any 5 card suit. So there are some special guidelines about which suit to open in that situation. And I'll be covering both what the EBU recommends and also a couple of other alternatives. This talk is based on ACOL bidding, which is 4 card major, but I will give some reference to playing 5 card majors, which has a similar sort of problem and slightly different. Okay, so do interrupt me if you have any questions, but the basic idea is that with 4-4-4-1 hands, you will have a singleton, and obviously it can either be a singleton club, a diamond, a heart, or a spade. So if you want to open this one of a suit, the guidelines that most people follow is if there are 3 touching suits, like spades, hearts, diamonds, or hearts, diamonds, clubs, you open the middle suit, so 1 heart in this case, and 1 diamond. And in the other 2 cases, where the 3 suits are not touching, you bid the suit below the singleton, so 1 club here and 1 diamond. So those are the rules that a lot of people follow, and they're quite good rules, and we'll talk about some pluses and minuses of this scheme. And for those of you who did the continuing bridge course, this is covered in that book. So let's go through some examples and we'll see what are the possible problems with this. But also wanted to mention that if you're playing 5 card majors, or which is often called American or standard American, then your bids are more or less the same in most situations. You open, if you're playing 5 card majors, you don't open a major unless it has 5 cards. So these 3 bids are the same on the right, but this first one, you open this one 1 diamond instead of 1 heart. So it's the same as playing ACOL. And I mentioned this because quite a lot of people watch these videos on YouTube, and a lot of them are playing 5 card majors or standard. So let's have a look at the different scenarios. And here's one where you've got the singleton diamond. And if you follow the guideline I mentioned, you would open 1 club here. Okay, because it's 3 non-touching suits, so you open the suit below the singleton. And if your partner bids a major, 1 heart or 1 spade, you're going to support them. And in fact, I've got the first poll of the evening here, which is if they do respond 1 heart, what would you rebid here? What do you think you should rebid if your partner bids 1 heart? Have a little think about it. And in a moment, I will launch a poll. And the question is, what do you think Wes should rebid? And the majority have gone for 3 hearts here, with 21% going for 2 hearts and 17% going for 4 hearts. And I am with the majority of you here. Yes, you're going to support your partner's hearts here. And although you've only got 14 points in high cards, you should upgrade this hand because of the singleton. Once you know you're going to be playing in hearts, you should be jumping. And this hand is now really more than a minimum. Also, I would double check using the losing, counting how many losers you have. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's a 6 loser hand in support of hearts. So 1 better than a 7 loser hand. And so you would jump to 3 hearts on this hand. Yes, I agree with the majority of you. If, on the other hand, your partner doesn't bid a major but bids 1 diamond, then you have a pretty easy rebid of 1 heart. You bid your 4-card suits up the line. Now, normally when you bid 2 suits like this, 1 club and then 1 heart, you'll most of the time have at least 5 clubs and at least 4 hearts. So you're sort of telling a small lie about this. You're misleading your partner as to your length. They'll assume you might have 5 clubs here. But it's not a big deal because you're lying about a minor suit. And, you know, it's not that likely. When you're not so likely to be playing in a minor. You may well be headed for no trump in this scenario, for example. So you've told a small lie, but it's probably not a big deal. So this particular, the singleton diamond is fairly okay. You give the impression you've got longer clubs than hearts, but nonetheless, it's a reasonable choice, and you get to show, you know, 2 of your suits so far. Do interrupt me if you're having any questions about this. What about if you have a singleton heart? Well, then the guideline we looked at says you should open the suit below the singleton, so you'd open 1 diamond here. And of course, if your partner bids a suit that you can support, you would happily do that. But if they bid heart, then you rebid 1 spade. And again, similar to the last time, you're giving the impression you've got 5 diamonds and 4 spades. But because you're lying about a minor suit, it's not such a bad lie to tell. It's a small lie, not a lie exactly, but you're giving the impression that you probably will have 5 diamonds here. Most of the time you bid like this, you will actually have 5 diamonds, and your partner should probably assume that that is the case. Just to look at it from East's point of view, if the bidding has gone like that, so your partner opened 1 diamond, you bid a heart, they bid a spade. I've got the second and final poll of the evening. What do you think East should rebid with this hand? Don't answer verbally. I'm just launching that poll. And the question is, what should East rebid here? And most of you have gone for 1 no trump, 45%, but there's votes for pass, 2 clubs, or 2 spades. And let's switch back and see what we think. Well, your partner could have a pretty strong hand over there. Even though they haven't jumped, they could have a minimum or a medium hand for that bid. They could have all the way anything up to 18 points or so. So I'd be reluctant to pass. They've also probably got, you know, normally they might have 5 diamonds and 4 spades for this. So I'm reluctant to support the spades with only 3. And so given that I'd like to bid something here, I am with the majority of you. Yes, I think I would bid 1 no trump with this hand. It would be a mistake to bid 2 clubs here, because that would be 4th suit forcing. That would show a much stronger hand, one where you at least wanted to invite game, or like 10 plus points. So don't bid the 4th suit here, but with some kind of stopper in clubs, or almost a stopper in clubs, I think I'd go for 1 no trump. And on this particular layout, your partner would pass, and you'd be in a pretty reasonable contract there. Let's have a look at this one, where you've got the singleton spade. There are 4 cases, of course, of the singleton, and this is the 3rd one. And here, if you follow the guidelines of bidding the middle of 3 touching suits, you'll open a diamond. If your partner then bids a spade, then what you should rebid on this hand is 2 clubs. And that should normally be showing 5 diamonds and 4 clubs. So you're lying about the length of the diamond suit there, but maybe it's a small lie and it's about a minor suit. Don't on this hand bid 2 hearts, because if you open 1 diamond and then rebid 2 hearts, that is a reverse bid, show, because you're bidding above the 2 level of the first suit, and that would be showing, as well as 5 diamonds and 4 hearts, it should be showing more like 16 plus points. So you'd be lying on two grounds there if you bid 2 hearts. So 2 clubs is really the right bid there if your partner bids a spade. Or another situation, if perhaps you're just a little bit stronger, here you've got 15 points, and after 1 diamond, 1 spade, you might rebid 1 no trump. That should be a balanced hand, and although you've got a singleton spade, it's in your partner's suit. So you could tell a small lie there by rebidding 1 no trump. And finally, I'd like to just look at this distribution where you have the singleton club. And in my opinion, it turns out that this is the most problematic distribution, because if you follow the guidelines, you've got 3 touching suits, so you open 1 heart. Now, obviously, if your partner bids a suit that you can support, like 1 spade, you will support them. Or if they were to bid 2 diamonds, you could support them by bidding 3 diamonds. I wouldn't, by the way, jump if I was bidding. If they did bid 2 diamonds, I would just bid 3 diamonds. I wouldn't want to bid 4 diamonds, for example, because that would take you above 3 no trump, which may very well be where you're headed on this hand if you don't find a fit in a major suit. So yeah, you can support your partner's spades or diamonds, but if they bid 2 clubs, you then have to find a rebid, and that rebid would probably be 2 diamonds. Now, when you bid 2 suits, as I said at the outset, it normally shows that you've got 5 in the first and 4 in the second. And in fact, your partner should assume that you do have 5 hearts if you bid in this way. And so you may end up in a situation where they now support your hearts, and here they've got enough points for game, and so they would be right to bid 4 hearts. And you'd end up playing here in a 7-card trump fit, which is not ideal, and you might find you're better off playing in 3 no trump. Of course, you've got quite good trumps on this particular example, and you may well find that you make 4 hearts, just as you would probably make 3 no trump. But you've ended up not finding an 8-card fit, but playing in a 7-card fit. So this one distribution where you've got a singleton club is perhaps the most problematic, because it gives the impression you have a 5-card heart suit, and your partner may well support you with only 3 cards. So what else could you do on this hand? Well, if you bid 1 heart and they bid 2 clubs, another bid you could make is 2 no trump here. It's a smaller white lie, because you're saying you've got a balanced hand, and you'd like to be a bit stronger, because you're saying you've got 15 or 16 points for this, and you've only got 14. So you're a point light. But nonetheless, that's an alternative to rebidding diamonds, which would give the impression that you've got 5 hearts. So that's another bid you could make there, 2 no trump. So as I said, that singleton club distribution with 4-4-4-1 is perhaps the most problematic. And there are other people who have other ideas about what suit to bid. And quite a popular alternative, if you have the singleton club, is instead of opening 1 heart, open 1 diamond. And the advantage of this is that you're sort of lying about the diamond suit, or you may end up lying about the diamond suit. Obviously, if your partner bids a major, you can support them. But if your partner bids 2 clubs, then your best bid is probably 2 diamonds. Now, you're giving your partner a misleading impression now, definitely, because that would suggest at least a 5-card diamond suit. But it's probably the best thing to do if you've opened a diamond in this situation. Don't rebid 2 hearts or 2 spades if you've just got a minimum hand, because that again would be a reverse bid showing 5 diamonds or more, 4 hearts or more, but at least 16 points. So if you do bid 1 diamond here and your partner bids 2 clubs, then maybe you have to rebid 2 diamonds. And those people playing 5-card majors will have a similar problem. They will open, if they open 1 diamond here, and their partner doesn't bid a major, then all they can do is rebid 2 diamonds, or if they were playing actually standard American, they could rebid no trump, which would show a minimum hand in that particular bidding sequence. But there's a similar problem in 5-card majors too, in what to bid, especially with that singleton club. And as I said, don't rebid the major suit. Don't make a reverse bid unless you're very close to 16 points or more. And I just wanted to mention another alternative, a second alternative for this hand, which is actually to open this with 1 no trump if it's within the 12 to 14 point range. Now, this some people do this, and I think particularly with a singleton club, it can work out better. Now, normally, of course, you shouldn't have a singleton to open 1 no trump. And if you do have this agreement that you're going to open 1 no trump on a hand like this, your partner is actually meant to announce it as saying 12 to 14 may contain a singleton. So you're allowed to do it, but it's meant to be announced. So is this a good idea? Well, possibly. It gets around some difficulties, but it could introduce other difficulties if your partner, wants to play in clubs and will be very disappointed you've only got 1 card in that suit. I've actually brought up here the EBU announcement rules, and this is the latest rules. And here it's mentioned that if you open 1 no trump, your partner's meant to announce the range 12 to 14, and they may add something like may contain a singleton or may contain a low singleton. So that's meant to be announced. So those are the latest EBU rules. Incidentally, I noticed when I printed this out, brought this up, that they now say that there should be no announcement for opening bids of 2 no trump or 3 no trump. So in the past, that used to be announced as 20 to 22 under EBU rules, but that apparently is gone now. But you still announce 1 no trump. So what are you going to do with all this information? Well, for most players, I would recommend you stick to the standard guidelines. These 4-4-4-1 hands come up not that often, about 3% of the time, I understand. And of course, the most problematic, in my opinion, where you've got the singleton club, that will come up less than 1% of the time. But so I would stick to the standard guidelines. But with the singleton club, you could sometimes consider opening 1 diamond instead of 1 heart. And then if your partner responds 2 clubs, then you have to find a rebid, either 2 no trump if you have the right point range, or 2 diamonds if you don't. And there are some other variations on how to bid these 4-4-1 hands. I don't really think that any of them are much better than this, so I would stick to this. Or if you fancy opening 1 no trump sometimes with a singleton club especially, then that may work out for you, but you should announce that if that's your agreement. Okay. Anyone have any questions or comments on any of this? I hope that means you all followed it or found it interesting. We'll end the talk just there. Just wanted to remind you that if you're playing tonight in the game on Real Bridge, please keep any background noise to a minimum. And also, if you're having a discussion about the hand, which is fine, please stop that discussion when other people come to the table, because people are trying to concentrate and work out what to bid. and it's disruptive if you're carrying on a previous round conversation.